Amigos y amigas. I had a couple conversations today regarding how to kind of become better than average, and I think when you look at a sort of holistic bell curve of human beings, the vast majority of us fall within a very similar window as far as like assessing like our intelligence, our ability to learn. If you assess like by IQ or whatever, ability to read, ability to whatever, people skills, interactive. Like if you look across the board, um, the vast majority of us fall within a very narrow window. And so, like people like Bill Gates and Elon Musk fall a little bit outside of it, right? And it's like, well, if if you weren't lucky enough to be born some sort of savant type person, then how do you overcome average, right? So it's a good question, and that usually is a result of accumulated success. Now, we all have a certain amount of success that we can fall back on, right? And so while everyone is average, and when you look like, I shouldn't say everyone, while the most of us are average, when you look at it, the bell curve kind of thing, that's true. However, I believe every single person has something that they're above average at, or maybe multiple things you're above average at, right? When I even as a young kid, I was way farther ahead than the majority my age in like mathematical skills and critical thinking. But I struggled reading. I'm not a very good reader still. I'm pretty mediocre or even below average, despite the fact that I do book reviews and stuff on YouTube, right? Um, so I had a very lopsided testing, super super high in those sort of analytical mathematical numbers things, and actually quite low on the reading. However, I had really good reading comprehension. So it's interesting, right? And I'm sure you've noticed things about yourself that you're better than average or maybe worse than average. And so how do you overcome average? Well, you definitely lean on your strengths, right? If you can lean on your strengths and find jobs and careers and opportunities that demonstrate and utilize your strengths, you're going to be, of course, better than average, right? So there's certain abilities you can totally exploit to become better than average. I mean, I remember watching a TED talk of she was some sort of a model, and basically she she was talking about like how not glorious it is, and actually despite the glorification of models and modeling and all this stuff, it's actually quite a strange industry, and a lot of the models are insecure and yada yada yada. But then she basically said, but can you fault me for putting myself through school by utilizing a deck that was stacked to my advantage, right? So she basically is saying like, listen, I match what people want to see in magazines and like on commercials and things like that. And people have made me offers to, wear that shirt and those jeans on that magazine. And, she went for it, right? Her advantage was her looks, right? Other people, it's a leadership skill. It's reading and comprehensions. It's analytics. It's relationships. It's like, and the list goes on, right? It's forever. So what did you get gifted where the deck is stacked in your advantage, right? Utilize that. But then number two is find other people that are in your similar industry or role, or your peers at work, in school, and find out, learn from them their strengths, right? So reach out to those people who you work with, have access to, can collaborate with, share your strengths, but really try and learn from them their strengths, right? Get one-on-one mentoring from people in your workplace, in your environment, that can teach you things that are their strengths. Therefore, you're basically, while you won't become, the whiz or whatever, like in today's world, so much is online and analytics and spreadsheets and all that stuff. If that's not your strength, find the person that is really good at that and let them coach you. People love to teach each other, right? People love to be praised for how good they are and share some of their wisdom and feel like they're making an impact. Let them make that impact in your life. Seek it out. And so if you're leveraging your strengths, you're above average. If you're finding other people's strengths, you're going to accumulate success and above average skill sets in a bunch of other categories that you otherwise wouldn't have. So, and then over time, if you've lived your life this way, over time, over years, you've accumulated more skills, more knowledge, more wisdom, more relationships, right? To put you in an above average category when it comes to skill sets, intelligence, and wisdom, right? And networks. That's just very important. So these are a couple ways that you can become above average, right? I try to always view myself as like a very, very average person in holistically, but I know a few things about myself that I'm much better than typical people. Then it's just a few. It's just a few things, but I have to leverage those, right? I have to go for that. And then I try to surround myself with others who fill my weaknesses, but not just find people to be around me, but learn from them. I want them to teach me. I want the experts to depart their wisdom to me in their categories, right? So that's my 2 cents for the day. I think accumulated success is really not appreciated well enough. But most people who have achieved extraordinary results weren't born just savant-like, crazy intelligence, also having great people skills and a business sense, and like they didn't come with all of it. They basically accumulated step by step. They started a small business, they failed, started another small business, they succeeded, sold it, bought another one, started another one, like over time. And then of course they have that one that was a multi-million deal that over 10 years made them multi-millionaires, and it's like overnight success. Not so frequently. It's usually an accumulation. Most millionaires accumulate money through their employer, retirement fund, and they're like chipping away at things for years. Most millionaires in America don't even make 6 figures a year, right? So it's like an accumulation of success. You got to stay the course, whether that's mental intelligence and intellect, wisdom, relationships, your network, all these things. It takes time. You just got to keep chipping away, and you'll become better than average, because most people aren't willing to put in the time or have the vision for long-term growth. And so you do that, and within a shorter than you think handful of years, you'll be beyond most people. So I hope this helps, and I will talk to y'all soon.